Nephew, sit down, let me talk to you. See, I read your book, cuz, and the first thing God said was don't learn nothing. You dig? B-I-B-L-E, think, hold up, that don't add up, G. No. Genesis chapter 2.0, God said, don't touch that tree. No. Tree of knowledge sitting pretty in the middle of the yard. Thinking was the crime, homie, no one hit him hard. Adam wanted wisdom, now the whole world catching stripes. Your God gave a death sentence for the first man wanting life. So you built the whole brand saying learn to think with me. But need your origin story, cause it's thinking ain't for free. Calvary, Chapel, Costa Mesa, that's where you got your start. Got a seminary degree, more like a youth group with heart. 43 hours, nephew, telling him what to do. While Deborah in Israel, what they say about drop it like it's doctrine. Drop it like it's doctrine. When the Bible says don't think, it might start talking like it's doctrine. Drop it like it's doctrine. Bible thinking, but the thinking got you locked in. Drop it like it's doctrine. Drop it like it's doctrine. When the Bible says don't think, it might start talking like it's doctrine. Drop it like it's doctrine. Bible thinking, but the thinking got you locked in. You did. Leviticus 25, let me read it real slow. Buy 'em from the nations, keep the kids and let it grow. Pass them down as property, that's inheritance. You hear that's chattel, that's a chain gang, that's a person, not a year. But you on that Friday stream like biblical slavery was fine. It's different from the South, Mike, that's what the South said every time. Richard Furman, 1822.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I was wondering, do you ever do any formal debates or not? Would you debate with me, did Moses write the Torah? Yeah. I'm not like a bad guy. I mean, if you, when I do formals, right, I get a mutual moderator, get a good channel. I don't do this disrespect stuff. I don't like that. So I'd have to look for one, but again, it'd be one that you would obviously approve on, someone that's not biased. And when you do it, do you usually do it on YouTube or TikTok? Because I've done it on both. All right. So John at. Okay, perfect. All right. There you go. Thank you, man. And are you free? Are you free in like September time? Yeah, I got that. All right. Have a good one, man. I'll reach out to you.
Okay, I'll see you later. Okay. Sorry. People were saying no, can't hear me. Yeah, I gotcha. I think y'all should be able to hear me now. For whatever reason, my shit. Oh, wait, that's one of my games. Yeah, over on TikTok, y'all were able. They were able to hear me, but over here on y'all over there on YouTube, y'all couldn't hear me. Let's see. Let me get the comments here. I'll let y'all listen to some music since there's nobody requesting up just yet. If you would like to request up and challenge me on anything biblical, like whether or not Jesus existed, whether or not the Bible's historical in any kind of sense. You know, I've got the 3 topics here. Jesus never existed, God is evil, and the Bible is immoral. If y'all would like to challenge me on that, feel free. I also have let's see, hold on. I've also got there we go. I've also got Video Ninja queued up for those over there that are not on TikTok that want to request up. You just hit that link right there. It's ge.hop.to/talk to me. You'll be able to talk to me. I am primarily looking for ops, so if you are in opposition to any of my things right there, I'd love to talk to you. Ticker.
Always tinkering with the text to make it say what you need. Genesis 3, the whole thing was God saying don't learn. You build a career on thinking, but thinking was the first crime.
I don't know what's going on there. Hold on.
I don't waste bars on small timers, nah. But when you use God's name to hustle, let me put this in a form you understand.
Hey, Godwin, thank you so much.
Premise 2, I got
Loud and clear, and it looks like we're looking good.
Let's go. Capturing Christianity, not capturing cash. The whole ministry, then you switch for a splash. Told your Protestant supporters you were standing on the truth. Then you swap theology like you were switching in a booth. Love a good syllogism, let me build one that's real. Premise 1, you chase the money. Premise 2, you switch the spiel. The conclusion isn't holy, dog. The conclusion is a deal. 500 patrons paying plans up to 150, netting 9 a month, but still crying. Give me $3,000 deficit, the magic number, right? Same exact amount in 22 and 24. How tight? Almost like you workshopped it for maximum donation. Not too high to scare them off, not low for hesitation. You call it ministry, I call it marketing with prayers. A subscription-based religion selling God and tears. Capturing Christianity, what you really capturing? No, every dollar, every death, every angle for the show. You say you follow evidence wherever it may lead, but every road you follow led you straight to greed. June of 21, Russ Jones died back your mission. What you do? Use his casket as a fundraising vision.
Okay, trying to get everything kind of positioned on my screen here so that it works fine. Mateo Potato, how you doing there, Mateo? Oh, somebody appeared and then disappeared real quick. Let's see. RIP. Who calculates that faith on a Bayesian ceiling? That ain't conviction, Cam, that's a spreadsheet with a cross. You didn't find religion, you just calculated cost. Capturing Christianity, what you really capturing? No, every dollar, every debt, every angle for the show. Yeah, so what does that do? Show. Oh shit. That's crazy. Like that's impressive. That's the bare minimum of criticism. That's like bragging that you spelled your name right on the test. Modus ponens ain't a flex, Cam. Sit down, you're not the best. Questions aren't arguments, yeah, that's your favorite deflection. But a syllogism with a garbage premise ain't perfection. You start with your conclusion and you reason your way back. That's not philosophy, that's a con man building tracks. 6,000 priests accused in America alone. 300,000 children hurt in France, the numbers known. 5 billion spent on settlements, that's what they paid to hide. And you looked at all of that and said, yeah, that's my side. The evidence is screaming, but you don't hear children cry. You only hear the revenue, you only hear ka-ching. Use your final syllogism, let me lay it out with care. Premise 1, grip the where money's always there. Premise 2, you found a church that's been 5 billion hiding shame. Conclusion, Cameron, you was never following the truth, you were following the game. Capturing Christianity, what you really capturing? No, every dollar, every death, every angle for the okay, let's see. Turn that down a little bit more. I can't really hear myself think. What is up, heathens? How y'all doing? So let's see. Score, overlays, scene. I'm checking out. I've been working on my streaming tool here. Let's see, scene. Be right back. What does that show? Does that do anything? I don't see it. I don't know if you've seen, but some goof was trying to spread shit about you the other day. Only ever saw them once, though. Starting soon? So do clear scene. No scene showing. I don't know what that does. It's really weird. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't know if you want to DM me or if you want to put in the chat there what they were talking shit about me. There's usually a lot of shit that gets talked about me, so I'm used to it. Try lowering your speaker volume for clearer audio. No, thank you. What's up there, Sober? Hope you're doing good. I haven't been able to update all of my, like, I haven't been able to update my, moderators. Austin, what did the cannibal say after eating the pagan? Could use some spice. I don't know. Oh, biblical Jesus. Yeah, he's a mythological character. I also mean the historical Jesus. Tastes like Wiccan. That's pretty good. Let's see. Nobody over on Video Ninja. So if you're on anything but TikTok, you can request up through the ge.hop.to/talk to me. We are live. Let's see. Oh, we were not live there. Oh, we were not live on Facebook or on Instagram, but I just hit the go live button on both. We are live on Twitch though, which, you know, there's nobody really watching me on Twitch, but let's see, YouTube or Facebook. Oh, you know what I didn't do is I didn't pin up. Oh, stop the stupidity. Did 5 Godless Engineer gift memberships. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. I'm gonna pin. Oh, nope. That is the video ID. Hold on. Let's see. Overlays. Copy. Here. Paste. I know one thing that'll help is if you tippy tap on that screen there, get us into the algorithm. That'll get some people in here to have conversations. If you're in the chat there and you would like to have a conversation with me on whether or not Jesus existed, God being evil, or the Bible being immoral, I would love to talk to you about it. If you disagree with me, that's an even better reason to request up. In that. Okay, let's see. More tea, less Jesus. I don't know what tea you're looking for me to spill there, bud. What's up there, Kevin? How you doing? See, Dreamscape saying Jesus never existed is a strong claim. Maybe you mean he most likely didn't exist. Nope, he didn't exist. He never existed. Dreamscape, do you want to request up and have a conversation about it? We can definitely have that conversation. Request up to talk about it. Yeah, let's do it. Saying Jesus never existed is a strong claim. Maybe you mean he most likely didn't exist. Let's talk about it there, bud. We could definitely do that. Let's see. Planning a stream with Ogar. You should stop by if it happens. Oh, cool. Awesome. Oh, Dreamscape request. Okay, I'm getting you up here there, Dreamscape. 1 second. Hey.
Hey, how's it going, man? Can you hear me all right?
Yep, I gotcha. Hey there, Atheist Cats, how you doing? Are you over 18?
Yes.
Okay, and what are your pronouns?
He, him.
Cool. So now you wanted to talk about Jesus never existing. I take kind of a hard stance on it, and you think that's kind of a kind of a big thing for me to take there. What problems do you have with it?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's just a semantic thing here that I'm having issues with, but mostly just the terminology with the bold claim that he never existed, right? I just feel like that sort of claim is much stronger than, sort of the idea that it's likely he didn't exist or it's likely he did. I'm not really sure how you're inferring to the absolute claim that he didn't exist.
Well, I mean, considering that there's no evidence that he did exist, I feel like me taking the very hard claim of he never existed as a historical figure. I mean that I've got all the evidence on my side. There's plenty of evidence that shows that there was nobody that actually saw him walking on Earth, and all evidence of him only exists in revelatory, revelatory experiences, and so. As far as we understand Jesus, like both from Paul and from the Gospels and just the Christian Jesus in general, he never existed.
Okay, and just to be clear here, what do you mean by evidence?
Evidence. It'd be like empirical evidence of a historical standard. So like, we've got the firsthand account evidence, which is kind of in a historical setting is kind of our, one of our first lines of evidence. We've also got archaeological evidence, which obviously I'm not expecting to have archaeological evidence of a Jesus. I'm expecting to have textual evidence of a Jesus, but we have plenty of historical figures that we consider to be historical just based off of like, firsthand eyewitness accounting. And we just simply don't have that for Jesus.
Okay, but would you say that, so are you rejecting the idea of second or third hand account as evidence in support of Jesus' existence?
Well, I mean, so when you start talking about second or third hand, what it depends on then is what is their source information. And I guess my claim would be that there is no source information for which second or third hand accountings to really give us any good historical like grounding.
Okay, so are you saying the issue here is the way historians hash out the existence of Jesus is their methodology to reach that conclusion? Or are you saying that they're flawed using this?
Yeah, so not historians, but New Testament scholars, because most historians out there are not going to be actually concerned with a historical version of Jesus, and most New Testament scholars are more concerned with the magical form of Jesus. So we're really only talking about a thin sliver where both the historian side and the New Testament scholar side sort of overlap there, and that very thin strip is obviously controlled by mainstream New Testament scholarship, and so it's a bit skewed. So yes, I would say that the methodology of New Testament scholars who are tangentially related to the field of history, I think that they are skewed in their historical methodology.
Okay, yeah, I mean, fair enough. Well, I guess my next question would be, okay, so like say that I granted you that somehow their methodology was skewed or wasn't correct, right? I still don't see how this is leading us or motivating us to accept the idea that not only Jesus not existing wasn't likely, right, or that he existed wasn't likely, but that he didn't exist.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, what I'm saying is that even if you were to pin like the origin of the concept to a historical person, like just to give you a for instance, like in the New Testament, you have, some of the story of Jesus is based off of Jesus ben Ananias in the first century and his assault on Jerusalem. There's a bit of the passion there that has some direct parallels to the passion that Jesus goes through. And so, most likely that was the historical background for which the gospel authors most likely generated the very plausible story that they present in the gospel narrative. And so, My contention is that Jesus Benanias is not in any way related to the Christian religion and is therefore not the Jesus that we're looking for in history that would have started Christianity. I'm saying that the person or persons that started Christianity had no connection whatsoever to a real historical figure, and it is just a theologized sort of figure that was crafted in order to explain certain things about Jewish theology that they were having trouble with.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I don't really have much to argue with you here on. I'm sort of, I guess I'm somewhere in the middle about whether, it was likely or less likely that Jesus existed. Because to me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think we probably share similar views as far as, I'm assuming, or I'm pretty sure that you're an atheist, right?
Yep, I am.
Yeah. So, I mean, we share that in common. And like I said, I'm kind of on the fence. I've actually just started, the audiobook. I forget his name, Richard.
Carey.
Yeah. I've started that book where he kind of lays out arguments as to why he thinks, the historical figure of Jesus was a myth.
Yeah, I'm guessing
so
that's.
To be fair,
I'm guessing that's on the historicity of Jesus.
Yes, yeah. So to be fair, it's something I'm still diving into, but I just wanted to know your opinion on it. I've seen your lives on here a few times with that in the background, so I wasn't really sure what direction you were kind of going with.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you requesting up. I don't really get a whole lot of chances to be very specific and concise about it, so I really appreciate that opportunity.
Yeah, man. Well, maybe I'll catch you on live another time.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. Clear. All right. Bible proof in the comments there. If you would like to request up, if you're of age, please, let's do it. I'll request you up there. If you would like to come up and have a conversation, I think I've shown that I can be very, there we go. Hi there, Bible proof. Are you over 18?
Yes.
All right. And, nice. Then, next question would be, what are your pronouns?
I am a man.
All right. That's not a pronoun. If I said
what's the definition of a pronoun?
It would be a identifier for, somebody speaking in the third person to identify, like another person, whatever.
So why can't man be a pronoun?
Because that's like, it's just not a pronoun. Like man's not a pronoun. Like,
can I define it as a pronoun?
No, that's not how words work.
No, you can't make your own words and define them.
I mean, sure, you can make your own words if you want to, but whether or not I play by your rules is a different thing. And I'm not going to change the English language specifically for you, you special little snowflake.
Okay, I'm an it.
It is it would work. So you're an it.
Yep.
Everybody refer to them as it. It as it. It. I'm guessing you're a theist or you're a Christian.
I'm it. Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So, let's clear that off. All right. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, let me ask, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
So you're atheist, I assume, right?
Yep, I am.
So do you have what's your background? Like, were you born an atheist? Were you born in a religious household, or what's your story? I don't know your story. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I was born into a religious household. I started off, my parents forced me to be Catholic, and then we eventually left Catholicism for Protestantism. I bounced around Baptist, Southern Baptist, and non-denominational organizations when I was growing up, and eventually came to the conclusion that I didn't believe anymore.
So did you believe at one time?
Yes, that would be the whole arc of me.
Well, I mean, because a lot of times people are actually raised in a church-going environment, and it's always assumed that they're Christian, but that doesn't necessarily mean like in their head were convinced they were a Christian. You know, like their parents might be Christian, and it can be like cultural. Just like you could be a fan of a football team and you wear a shirt for the football team. So I was just kind of curious to see if that's was your situation. Like when you were sitting in church, were you saying this is all a bunch of baloney, but I have to come here because my parents want to come here, or did you like this is true, I believe it?
Yeah, I mean, I believed it. I mean, you know, I went to Wednesday night, what was that high school kids service? The Wednesday night, what was it church? It was a church group. The high school kids church group, the Wednesday night thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you went to that.
Yeah, and there was a Bible study that I took part in. I had a bunch of friends that were part of that, and we studied the Bible together and everything. So I mean, yeah.
And at what point in your life did you say this is baloney? Like what? Like how did you get the epiphany that this is not true? Was it in college? Friends?
Yeah, I mean, I was in college at the time. I went to, sorry, I accidentally closed out of something. I went to, I was playing on a softball, like a Baptist softball sort of league.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was playing on that, and I had a friend challenge me, essentially, and when I was challenged on it about believing in the Bible from cover to cover, I decided, well, I didn't believe in it cover to cover, so I need to figure out what I believe. So I went on a path of like trying to figure that out. I listened to both sides of the argument, both the atheist side and the Christian side, and I came out on the other side of that, not believing in a God.
So your friend who challenged you, was he challenge you to believe or to not believe? Was your friend himself a skeptic or atheist that challenged you to read it?
No, he was religious. I mean, when I say he challenged me, what I mean is that he told me that unless I believed in the Bible from cover to cover as literal, like truth, like reality, if I didn't believe that, then I wasn't truly a Christian, and so I needed to figure that out. And I immediately knew that I didn't believe in it, like literally, and so I had to figure out what I did believe, and that's kind of how I went about that.
And how did you discover what you believe? Like, did you just start doing research and come to the conclusion? Because everybody has questions of who am I, where did I come from, where am I going? So did you come to the conclusion that atheism was the answer to those questions, or had the answer to those questions?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of laid it out, right? Like, I started watching, debates. I would read both sides of an argument, like for and against God's existence. And, I was just, I was going, I was just, I was looking at all sides of it, Hold on, I do have a super chat here that is from Gretchen, who says, GE, been fucking with your GE Bible app. Good stuff so far. Keep it coming. See you at RCR. Yes, RCR is Rocket City Reason. It's the conference that we're putting on. So thank you, Gretchen, for bringing that up. Yes, I do have a GE Bible app. It's gebible.app. You can go there and you can read the Bible. You can study the Bible. You can learn how to read the original text and everything like that. So please go and check that out. Anyways, so, next question.
Okay, so now you believe there's no God, correct?
I am not convinced that a God exists.
You're not convinced that God exists,
right? So that's a little bit different than how. Well, let me be a bit more
agnostic.
Concise. No. Well, I am agnostic. I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't believe in one. But I don't know whether or not a God exists. Now, if you want me to be specific about a particular definition of God, since I'm guessing you're Christian, considering your name, I would be Gnostic when it comes to your particular religion, because I feel like I know that your God doesn't exist.
You know my God doesn't exist, but you don't know if there is a God or isn't a God. Is that what you're saying?
I'm leaving it open for there being a God because there could always come some new information in the future. But if everything were to stay the same, all the evidence that we have were to stay the same as it is now, then I would say that I am not convinced that there is a God.
Okay. So, and you really don't believe the Bible is true. So, because I see your questions, Jesus never existed, God is evil, the Bible is immoral.
Mm-hmm.
So those are your three comments. So,
yeah, I figure those are good starting
position.
points. Yeah, I figure those are good starting points.
So have you ever looked at any evidence for the existence of Jesus?
Yes, extensively.
Extensively. So can I get your opinion on things?
Sure.
Okay. Have you ever studied the 70 weeks of Daniel?
I mean, I know of it. I've looked into it. I know.
What's your viewpoint of it? Tell me what you know about it.
Okay, so the 70 weeks of Daniel is a prophecy about when the Messiah is to come. There were several different groups that were going around at that time that had different mathematics for estimating when the Messiah was supposed to come. And all of the math generally works out between these different groups to land somewhere between the 1st century BCE and the 1st century CE. Obviously, the one group that won out is the ones that figured that the Messiah were to come in the 1st century CE.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it went out because the text actually says that after, because in the text itself, because it actually says in Daniel 9:26 that the Mashiach, and it actually is in the Hebrew, Mashiach, the Messiah, is going to come. And after the Messiah comes, the temple and the city are going to be destroyed. And there's only that happened in AD 70. So it would follow the death of the Messiah. So, but then it all. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, the Jerusalem temple being destroyed happened around 70, and Jesus supposedly died around 30. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. That seems to. I mean, close only works with hand grenades and something else. Horseshoes and hand grenades. That's what it is.
No, it actually in Daniel 9:26 it actually says the Mashiach is going to be cut off, and then the people of a prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's only happened 30. That again, this Daniel, even if you try to interpret it as an early date for Daniel or a late date for Daniel, it still took place after the book of Daniel was written, and the Roman Empire destroys the city of Jerusalem in 70 A.D. and the temple is destroyed in 70 A.D. Actually, it's actually written about in Daniel 9:26 before it happened. So you can't. I mean, you can't get around that actually happened. It actually says it in the Hebrew. The Messiah is going to be killed, and then after, whether it's the Messiah Jesus or another leader, it still says it in the Hebrew. The Mashiach is going to be killed or cut off, and after that, the temple is going to be destroyed. The city is going to be destroyed, and the sanctuary is going to be destroyed. And that's actually what happened in 70 AD. You have the Arch of Titus in Rome, actually, that confirms that. That's just a fact, whether you like it or not.
So I think that the gospel information that was written about Jesus is written in order to specifically to fulfill these prophecies, and not Jesus is not a fulfillment of it. So I do have my GE Bible app up right now on the screen in case anybody wants to go and read about this. You can search up Daniel 9:26 and it'll have a cross reference to the messianic prophecy section of this right here. And so there is a fulfillment reading, obviously, which is what Bible Proof right here is kind of purporting there, which I don't know if this specifically covers your particular interpretation of it. Try to do my best with that, but the counter reading to this says, on the critical reading, the Anderson calculation depends on several contestable choices: 360-day prophetic years, the selection of one decree among several options, Cyrus in 538, Darius 520, Artaxerxes 458, 445. So there's multiple.
Artaxerxes.
So there's multiple different of these decrees that it could be related to, and adjustments for calendar conversions, and different starting points yield radically different endpoints. This reading places the text's own context in the Maccabean crisis. The abomination that desolates in 927 is taken to match the altar to Zeus that Antiochus IV erected in the temple in 167 BCE, as described in First Maccabees 154, and the murdered anointed one to fit Onias III, whose assassination is recorded in Second Maccabees 434. On this account, the passage's historical accuracy for the 2nd century BCE and its vagueness for any other period is the standard evidence for a Maccabean era composition. So essentially, the counter reading to what you're talking about here is essentially that this is actually talking about Onias III, and that's how the Jews originally interpreted this, which is something that actually happened. There was a sect of Jews that interpreted Onias III to be a Messiah, in which they had to reinterpret things from the Hebrew Bible to fit a suffering and dying Messiah.
Okay, so are you familiar with that? Have you studied that?
Studied what exactly?
What you're reading from a text, but have you actually personally looked into that before you became an atheist? Was that something that you were ever familiar with, or you just familiar
if
with
I
it
can,
now because you're responding?
Well, if I can, so I became an atheist first, which was about whether or not God exists, right? When I became a mythicist, I definitely did do my due diligence, and I read into like whether or not he fulfilled prophecies, which Jesus never fulfilled any of the prophecies. And then I looked into, the evidence for Jesus. This right here is kind of like a deeper dive into it, but I have done that deeper dive. So like what I was saying before, there's a Hebrew Bible scholar, Daniel Boyarin, who actually records this pre-Christian suffering and dying Messiah motif that exists in the Jewish culture. And they essentially did the math on the Daniel weeks of years and everything like that, and came up with Onias III as fitting this particular prophecy. So I feel like the later Gospels working Jesus, or working some kind of details into the Gospels to fit this retroactively, I think is a far stronger reading than like him fulfilling this himself.
So do you think the Christians kind of somehow got the Romans to destroy the city of Jerusalem and the temple in AD 70 so that this prophecy would be fulfilled? Do you think the Christians were able to kind of manipulate Titus and Vespasian and get them to destroy the city of Jerusalem and the temple so that they can kind of fulfill this prophecy?
No, I think that the original and most traditional reading of this ends up with it being sometime in the 2nd century BCE, in which this is fulfilled, not the 1st century CE.
The temple there was only 2 times the temple was destroyed. And the first time it was by the Babylonians in 586 BC, and the second time it was by the Romans in AD 70. So that prophecy specifically talks about the destruction of the temple.
So this
temple.
This is written after, this is written after it was.
I know, but Daniel wasn't written after it. Daniel was written before it. We have
Daniel was written in the 2nd century BCE, and but you're forcing an understanding.
So the temple was destroyed.
Hold on. So you're forcing an understanding upon the text that places it in the 1st century CE, as opposed to when it was originally supposed to be figured. And so Daniel being written after it happens, obviously, they can definitely place it in the correct time.
Daniel was not written after. Daniel was written before. Daniel was written BC. The temple was destroyed in AD. So we have. Are you familiar with the Septuagint?
Yes.
Okay, so the Septuagint was translated about 200 BC, and so 200 BC is 300 years before the destruction of the second temple. So that prophecy in Daniel 9:26 is actually referring to the second temple.
No, it's
because the first temple was already destroyed. Yes, sure it is. Because
it was written. It was written after the fact.
Before.
It was written after the fact in order to portray a prophecy about that particular.
After the fact? What was written after the fact?
After the events that it recorded.
Are you saying Daniel was written after 70 AD?
No.
So what was written after 70 AD?
I didn't say anything was written after 70 AD.
You said it was written after the fact. So what was written after the fact?
Right, Daniel was written after the fact. Like
so the temple was destroyed. So therefore, if the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, are you saying Daniel was written after 70 AD?
No, you're forcing that onto it. I'm saying that the first time, like, okay, so Daniel 9:25 and 26 says, you need to know and understand that from the time of this command is given to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah, 7 weeks plus 62 weeks will elapse. It will be built with streets and defenses, and in spite of the difficult times, after 62 weeks, the Messiah will be put to death and it will be brought to nothing. A ruler will come to power whose army will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Its end will come like a flood. War and devastation will continue until that period of time is completed. So this right here is talking about a different situation, not the situation that you're forcing upon in the first century.
In what situation was the temple destroyed?
This doesn't say temple.
Before 70 AD. It says sanctuary and the city. There's only one sanctuary.
The city and
only one
sanctuary
city.
or whatnot. Right. Well,
when are you saying it's referring to?
It's talking about the previous time that it was supposed to have done this.
By the Babylonians that were like 100 years before Daniel?
Right. 100 Daniel was writing as a retroactive prophecy.
You're not making any sense because Daniel lived after the destruction of the first temple, and so Daniel is referring to the destruction of a second temple that followed after he was in Babylon. So there was only one other temple built, and that was the one that was destroyed in AD 70. This is just historical fact, okay? I know you're an engineer, but you have to deal with facts and reality.
Have I been condescending to you at all? No, I haven't. So can you do me
I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay. So I believe, and this is what scholars also believe, that Daniel here is referring to a previous time in which this was supposed to happen, and that this is actually predicting Onias III. And it's referring to Onias III as being the one.
Right. No, I understand that you're referring to the Messiah being killed is Onias III. Right. It tells you in the text, it says after the Messiah is killed, the people of a coming ruler are going to destroy the city and the sanctuary. And there's only the city is Jerusalem.
If we were to grant your particular understanding of what is to be destroyed in this respect, it would there's no difference between my understanding and your understanding. It's not a differentiator for Jesus, because it would still, even if you were to say that the Messiah is Onias III, then the 70 AD or CE destruction is still after Onias III dies. So
absolutely. But I'm just trying. The first thing we have to do is to establish that this is referring to the event in AD 70, so the prophecy is actually referring to a future event from the time that Daniel was written. And so that's my whole point. Now, I disagree with Onias III because your whole premise is that Jesus never existed. Right. So
how does this say anything about Jesus?
Well, because it says the Mashiach is going to be killed, but not for himself. So the Mashiach is the word Messiah, and the word Christ is the Greek. Yeah, the Christ is the Greek equivalency. So it's actually saying.
Why are you going Christ. To? Why do you need to go to the Greek? Why can't you stay in the Hebrew?
Well, because I'm going because of your people might not understand. Because there's 36 people that are listening So I'm helping them understand what I'm talking about. I know you know because you have a background in this, but not everybody else has a background in this.
Well, actually, there's about 92 people because there's 56 people over there on YouTube. Not to like.
Oh, really? Okay, great. Okay, great. Because I have a YouTube channel also, where I get into a lot of detail on this. Truth Debate, is my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And then, I mean, like if anybody has any questions, they can actually go to my TikTok account because I have videos on the 70 weeks of Daniel. So the other thing is, if you like, a lot of people stop at the 26th verse, but the 27th verse is actually being fulfilled right now because it talks about a third temple in verse 27, and that's what's happening in Israel right now. The Jews want to rebuild a third temple, and I think that's something that you're looking for evidence. I think you're going to see that evidence happen maybe in your lifetime.
No, I don't think so. The whole building of the temple thing has been a deal for a long time here, and it hasn't actually come about. But also, none of this actually has anything to do with Jesus as being the Messiah, because Daniel was prophesying, or was retroactively prophesying like Onias III, pointing towards Onias III in the 2nd century BCE.
Yeah, well, I would disagree with the interpretation of Onias because it actually talks about in Daniel chapter 11 about the wicked high priests and so forth, and Onias's descendants. And Onias was actually purchased his seat of high priest from the Greeks, and so he wasn't necessarily a righteous high priest. But that's another story. That's another time period.
Do you have any evidence? Do you have any evidence for Jesus that is like actually about like a historical person, Jesus?
Josephus.
Okay.
I think also you can look at the Roman historians, Tacitus and Pliny, who actually talk about Christianity. We have, because they actually talk about Christus, that there was a person. And again, they're giving you from a Roman secular or Roman non-believing perspective.
Yeah,
the spread of Christianity.
You just let me know whenever just let me know whenever you're done, like rattling off all these basic things.
Well, these aren't bad. I mean, like for example, we have the historian Gallio, and not historian, but the proconsul Gallio in Achaia, and he only had 1 year of rule as Roman proconsul, and they've actually found the plaque mentioning Gallio that's mentioned in the book of Acts. So, there's lots of other evidence, such as the Shroud of Turin.
Acts is historical fiction.
And Isaiah 53.
Isaiah 53 is about Israel.
No, who says it's about Israel? Maimonides?
No. Just the text.
How do you know it's about Israel?
The text says it's about Israel.
Well, it doesn't say it's Israel. It says he shall bear our sins. It talks about an individual. It never mentions Israel because Isaiah is the one who's writing it, and it says we hid our faces from him. Okay, so Isaiah is a Jew. He's a prophet, and he's writing in the future, and he's saying about a person who's coming, and he said he shall bear. It says he shall bear their iniquities. It actually talks about the righteous servant. Now, the reason we know it's not talking about Israel is because Israel is often called a wicked servant, a disobedient servant. Whereas in Isaiah 53, this individual who's bearing the sins of the whole world is called my righteous servant. So that's a big contrast.
So can you read what I have on the screen there?
Can I read what you have on the screen?
Yeah, I got it.
Remember all this. Oh yeah, remember all this, Jacob. For you are my servant, and I made you, Israel. You are my servant, and I won't forget you. Okay.
Yeah. So who's the servant?
Israel. No. Israel's a servant, but Israel is actually called a wicked servant because they're disobedient. Where's
the wicked at?
Look in Hosea. Look in the book. Well, not in
verse.
No,
you were talking about Isaiah 52 and 53, which is the suffering servant.
It's not Isaiah. You're quoting from Isaiah 44.
Right. But Isaiah
that's not 52.
No, that's right. It's not. But it builds up to 52 and 53. This is establishing This is one of the things that establishes who the servant is. The servant is Israel.
No, Israel is called the wicked servant.
I
This
made
is called
you.
my
Is
righteous
no.
servant.
Where does it say wicked here? Does it say wicked?
Not in that not in that verse particularly. Okay. You're
right.
Not, you're,
so
you're not,
which one
you're not quoting
is
all of
Hosea? Hold on. Is Hosea going to be more applicable to Isaiah 52 and 53, or is Isaiah 44 going to be more applicable?
Well, Isaiah 44 is just one verse. Israel is a servant. It's clearly God's going to use Israel, like the nation of Israel. Like so, just so you understand, the nation of Israel has been brought
what
back
about
into the land
Isaiah
to fulfill
49? What about
Bible
Isaiah?
prophecy.
Well, hold on. You say what you're saying is that it's just one verse, right?
You're quoting from only one verse.
Okay. Well, how about we go a bit closer? Isaiah 49:3. By the way, I'm using the search feature on gebible.app in order to find this. All it did was I searched for my servant Israel, and it's coming up with all of these references to the servant passages, like Isaiah 49:3. He told me, "You are my servant, Israel, and I will reveal my glory through you." Giggity.
Right, because God is working through the nation of Israel. Like, so for example, the Jewish people have been brought back in the land.
Who's the servant?
From all over the world. Hold on, I'm going to answer your question. They've been brought back in the land from all over the world, and they're in the end times.
Who's
the
the
Jewish
servant?
people are going to accept Jesus as Messiah.
Who's the servant?
Israel is a servant, but the servant of Isaiah 53 is the righteous servant. So Isaiah, the servant of Isaiah. Israel, as being a servant of Isaiah, is a wicked servant. It says that in Scripture.
So now, if we go to
there's
Isaiah,
we're talking about two servants. Okay.
45 for now. There is a two Messiah thing in Jewish theology. So we could get to that here in a second. But if we look at Isaiah 45:4 here, it says, "I call you by name, and I have given you a title of honor for the sake of Jacob, my servant, and Israel, the one I choose." So Jacob is Israel, right?
Jacob is Israel, right?
Right. So Israel is the servant. Israel, my servants. Like this is the third
Right.
one in Isaiah leading up to 52 and 53, where it directly identifies the servant as being Israel.
Right.
Like, I don't know why you're fighting this so hard.
Well, no, because I'm not fighting you. I'm agreeing that Israel is a servant, but they're not the servant of Isaiah 53, because the servant of Isaiah 53 is the righteous servant, whereas the Israel is called the disobedient servant.
But right here it says, "I call you by name, and I have given you a title of honor for the sake of Jacob, my servant, and Israel, the one I choose." So they have a title of honor. Like I feel like
Israel is given.
Right.
Israel is given a title of honor because they're going to be the righteous. Israel is going to turn to Jesus in the end times. They're going to believe that Jesus is the Messiah. God is going to gather. That's why all the Jewish people are being gathered back into the land of Israel, so that in the end times, they're going to accept Jesus as Messiah. And they are going to become a righteous people once they accept Jesus as Messiah.
No, I mean, hold on. I want to stay on Isaiah 50.
Because
the suffering servant,
Hosea,
the suffering servant is Israel. That's the one.
No, that's what Maimonides tried to interpret it as. Okay, but
no, that's what the Hebrews wrote. Like that's what the Israelites wrote.
No, let's read it. It says,
okay.
Who has believed a report? To whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he, talking about individual, shall grow up before him as a tender plant has a root of a dry ground.
But it's talking about. Do you notice the passage that I've got highlighted? Hold on. You notice the passage that I have on here? It's talking about Jacob and Israel, the group, and it's using the singular. Like the singular and the plural in this particular situation doesn't factor in. It doesn't distinguish like the servant as a singular person as opposed to the group that is Israel. So, I mean, he's speaking about the group Israel in the singular sense.
No, he's speaking in Isaiah 53. So you have to understand there's a distinction between Israel the servant and the righteous servant.
Right.
Because
So the righteous servant, the righteous servant is Israel.
No, it's not, because Israel is disobedient. Over and over again, it says Israel is disobedient. So for example, it says, look, he was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? He was oppressed and he was afflicted, but he opened not his mouth. That's talking about an individual.
No, it's not talking about an individual.
Yes, it is. Sure it is. Because all these prophecies were fulfilled in Jesus. It says he was oppressed and he was afflicted and he opened not his mouth. Again, I challenge your audience to go and read these prophecies. But I have to go. I have to go. Okay. I have to go. But I want to invite anybody. If you have any questions, go to my TikTok account or my YouTube channel at Truth Debate. Yeah. Okay. And I can, if you mark me down and invite me, I'll come back and we can continue our conversation. I'm glad I had this opportunity to talk to you, and I'd love to continue it. So feel free to contact me again.
Boran Kana, I'm going to get you up here in 1 second. I see your message in the chat there. Be sure to follow me so that we can, have more disagreements in the future. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay.
Let's see. I believe Borakana is friendly coming up. Hey there.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. I gather you're friendly, which is fine. You're wanting to explain Jeremiah 31:31, right?
31:31, right. I like it because it's not really open to interpretation. It's very direct, and it explains what the new covenant is and what it entails. So for all the Christians that are right here, you can go to Jeremiah 31:30. It's longer than that. It's a little longer. I'm just going to read it, but it states very clearly what the new covenant is. All right. So let's see what it says. The days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and the people of Judah. It's very specific for whom this is. It will not be like the covenant I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand to lead them out of Egypt, because they broke my covenant, though I was husband to them, declares the Lord. This is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my law in their minds and write it in their hearts. I will be their God and they will be my people no longer. Will they teach their neighbor or say to one another, know the Lord, because they will all know me, from the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. So basically, Yahweh is saying, yeah, I'm going to forgive the sins of Israel. Because whomever understands Deuteronomy 32:8 understands that this God is only for Israel. Even Jesus said, don't go to Gentile cities or any of that stuff. Like, he was very specific. So in this new covenant prophecy, there is no human sacrifice. There is no even reference to the Messiah. It's Yahweh himself who's going to basically brand the law in your heart, into your mind, in such a way that you cannot disobey it. So there goes free will. And it says that from the greatest from the youngest, basically from the baby to the oldest person will know the law so well that no one will have to teach or say to one another, know the Lord. So basically this conversation would be moot of explaining who God is, because no one, that necessity of explaining what Yahweh is, it would be moot, because everyone would know, and the law is going to be branded in you in such a way that you cannot break it. And that's when Yahweh will forgive your sins. Right at the end it says it, I will not remember your wickedness no more, your sins. It's really simple, you know what I mean? It's a very clean prophecy, and it's really not that open to interpretation. There's no Messiah to forgive your sins. You don't need a Messiah. This is for Israel only. So any Gentiles that think that this is for them, this is not for you.
No, yeah. Thank you so much for coming up and giving that little mini lecture about it. I appreciate it.
You like that one? And if any Christian anytime ever tries to judge you, just go to Romans 2. You can absolutely judge and do all that, but in Romans 2 they cannot judge or condemn or any of that. That's not a Christian thing to do. That Paul is telling them not to do that. So Anywho, it was nice talking to you, but keep that little one under your belt, all right?
Yeah, I will. Now, is it Borincana?
You could call me Bori. Everybody just calls me Bori.
Bori? Okay, cool.
All right? So
All
again, so explain also that Deuteronomy 32:8, it's an inheritance directly from the Most High. There are two gods in that. Do you know that one? Deuteronomy 32:8, where it gives the inheritance. Look for that one.
Okay, 1 second.
That's basically the inheritance of Israel to Yahweh, because Elion is giving his kids, the different nations. Well, so there it says, when the Most High gave the nations, they're divided. Can you read it for me? I don't have it. I just don't have it with me.
No, yeah. 1 second. Let me get it cleared up on the screen.
Yeah, I get the two verses because at the end it has to finish with giving the allotted share of Jacob.
Okay.
So it's 32:8 to 9.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. We got it. Oh, is this doing that? Okay.
It's okay.
32:8 to 9. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Most High. Sorry, I've got janky Bible translations, but
It's all right.
the Most High gave their nations their lands when he divided the human race. He fixed their borders depending on their gods, but the Lord's people are his. Israel is his chosen one.
That's it. That's all. That's basically the inheritance, because the Most High is basically El Elyon.
Mm-hmm.
And he is inherited. There are two gods in that right there. There's the Most High and the Lord. Those are two different gods, people. So the Most High is El Elyon, which is Yahweh's daddy. When there's an inheritance, daddy gives the inheritance. So he basically gave Baal his nation. He gave Beelzebub his nation. But to Yahweh is only Israel. And if you want to be a very, very Christian and say, no, but he said he gave all the nations to everybody. If you go to the New Testament, I don't remember if it's Matthew, I'd have to get it to, but it says very specifically when Jesus tells his apostles, when he sends them out like sheep among the wolves, he says very, very clearly, do not enter the cities of Gentiles where Gentiles dwell, or the city of Samaritans. Even though Samaritans are actually supposed to be Jewish, they're the purest Jewish, because they don't get their knowledge from the Mesopotamian from Babylon. They weren't in the Babylonian exile. So hence, for them, the Jews that came out of basically the Hebrews of the Second Temple are heretics to them, because they're using the Gilgamesh story. They're using all these stories that the Code of Hammurabi. They're using codes and stuff that were not original to their religion. So basically, Old Testament is fan fiction of Mesopotamic bilingual problem. Sorry, Mesopotamic mythology. So basically, Judaism is Babylonian fan fiction, Christianity is Jewish fan fiction, and Islam is fan fiction of the fan fiction. But when they say that they want, when Jesus is like, oh, let's gather the lost sheep of Israel, they're talking about those Samaritans and that people that did not go into the Babylonian exile and didn't have all this mysticism from Babylon and these ancient Mesopotamic traditions that were put in the Tanakh. Because remember, the first book that was written was Deuteronomy, and that was right before the Babylonian exile under King Josiah. So again, you go to, but then you go to Mesopotamia and you hear, they go to Babylon and they hear the story about King Sargon, who was saved from a basket in the river. What does that sound like, Yeah. So so Moses is basically a mixture of the character of King Sargon and King Josiah, the 18 Hebrew kings. So these are very, it's very tantalizing when you read it, especially when I was a previous a Christian, and then you come up and then you start reading and studying, and you're like, oh wow, I was duped. I was double colonized. Damn it. Anywho,
I hate it when that happens.
Oh man, I'm telling you. And the thing is, I'm Puerto Rican, so there's like Catholic, and then we were then colonized by the U.S., so we have a lot of Protestants. It's so weird, And then when you try to explain to people, you're like, no, you don't understand. This has nothing to do with us whatsoever. And I'm a Satanist or some shit like that. I'm like, do you understand that is not even a bad guy in the Bible? Like, he doesn't really hurt or do. And they're like, oh, he's the first liar. And I'm like, where did he lie? Oh, the snake. He's not the snake. But either way, the snake didn't lie either. He told truth. Yeah. Anywho.
Well, and so I'm about a quarter Puerto Rican.
Really?
Yeah, my grandparents on my dad's side are full Puerto Rican. So
¿De qué pueblo?
I'm not sure. But I didn't really know them like that far. I know my grandmother, her name was Nell. I can't remember what her last name was in Puerto Rico. I know that her father's name was Angel. I've done a little bit of a tracing on my background, and but she was a full Puerto Rican that came to Alabama. Married
of all places, why would she go to Alabama?
Well, because she married, seriously. It's just who she married. She came here, so I
get it. Don't worry, my dad's a gringo, but I live in the island. He moved here.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, my mother she was an independentista, and everybody just looked at her weird, like, you want independence, but you marry. It's so funny. It is hysterical. So I'm double colonized. But you might, but do your DNA, because you might actually have indigenous blood.
Oh, I do.
60% of the people on the island do have indigenous blood. Puerto Ricans are like one of the highest percentages of Taino blood.
Oh yeah. I've got in Caribbean indigenous. I think it's like on the order of about. I think it's about 15% or so.
That's good.
Yeah, I did. Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the average. There are people that definitely have more. My daughter has like 22%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like indigenous, as far as indigenous goes, like I've got that section there too, and then I'm fairly certain that my mom's father was Indian. Sorry, not Indian. Native American. Because I could tell in his face that he has a very Native American sort of features.
You know which tribe?
I don't know which tribe. I didn't trace that side of the family back long enough in order to figure that out.
I'm sure you'll get curious and you'll keep looking.
Yeah. But hey, it was great meeting you. Great seeing you. I think I've seen you around on TikTok. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Okay, well, wonderful. I'm following you. Keep it up. That's good. Again, God is evil. And actually, if anyone says about the devil or any of that, again, Lucifer is just King Nebuchadnezzar. That's just it. Yeah. When you bring isn't it? I don't know if it's in Ezekiel 14 when they basically teach them how to mock the Babylonians, and then that's where they actually named Nebuchadnezzar as Lucifer, and like it's hysterical. Again, once you start reading that Bible, I think that they should start reading the Bible in schools, because a lot of atheists are going to come out of that.
Yeah. No, and I've been trying on my Facebook page. I've been trying to put forth like a lot of like not so well known like information about the Bible out there on that, and which I've got like 130 some odd thousand people that follow me on Facebook, which I know that's not really saying much, but
it's fine, mijo. You start somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was great. It was really great hearing from you. Great to get that knowledge from you. And I will talk to you later. Okay.
All right. Just drop me down.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so very interesting. My grandmother on my dad's side was pretty well known in the Hispanic community here in North Alabama. She was known for taking Cuban refugees that were coming out of Cuba and hosting them. There was a few that were actually that actually got adopted by my grandmother. And so, you know, I have a number of Cuban and other Caribbean area people in my family. So it's pretty cool and interesting. But it also made very uncomfortable the Spanish classes that I took in high school because all the Spanish teachers knew my grandmother. And so like, if I didn't do great, if I didn't do awesome in Spanish, it ended up not being all that good for me. But it was awesome having that kind of community, even going through high school kind of thing. So that was pretty awesome. If anybody would like to request up, I see Goro, would you like to come up and ask me some questions about or prove Jesus or anything like that? That's a really weird question to Bori there. What is your purpose? That's really weird. That's a weird way to ask that. That is the perfect answer, Bori. Being happy. Well, Goro, if you'd like to come up, please do. Let me check over here. There's nobody that's called into Video Ninja. If you would like to call into Video Ninja, you just hit up that link, ge.hop.to/talk to me. You can get on up in here, and you can give me a call. If you will, if you're in the live chat right now, if we don't get any guests here in the next few minutes, I may do a reset. I know that's a trick to get back into the algorithm there. Also, if you liked my app that was showing off there, it's freely available. It's gebible.app. It's got an interlinear sister with it that is accessible through that app. So if you and that's just I call it Lemma. Lemma.gebible.app. I'm currently right now in talks, like active talks. I'm about to get the license for the NRSVUE. Ideally the GE Bible app, I had envisioned it to be a purely free app that would be minimally ad supported and have the ability to support through different lines of funding like Patreon and stuff, which you can do. And you can get access to certain things through there. Like I've got a beta side for things for anybody that wants to test out or look at new data that I'm going to be having up on it. Already used the G. Oh, really? There, MD Smith. Mike's already used it during his live, and that's pretty awesome. Mike, if you have any kind of feedback for me, anything that I can do better with it, like I did notice the one thing was I didn't have too granular of information on some of the more specific information regarding that Daniel prophecy, like when it was written and everything like that. So I think that I can strengthen up my messianic prophecy stuff, my data set for that with adding in some like when was this written kind of information. And I think that I can I know that I can add that, and so it's just a matter of getting it on the stack. Currently Mike Smith there in the chat, he actually gave me a really good idea for something to add to the app that I actually have the data set built. I've just got I've been working on getting the ad stuff set up and everything on the site, so that ads are supporting it. which minimal ads, by the way. It's like one ad at the bottom of the page, or maybe the top of the page. That's pretty much it, is what supports it. So, but was the interpolations, like getting a list of interpolations, common interpolations in the Bible that, these would be things that were added after the fact or that were augmented in different manuscripts. I have an entire data set that I'm going to serve alongside any of the Bible passages that get served up or whatnot. If there is an interpolation there, it is going to be there. I have also downloaded but also expanded a set of red letter data. So I'm eventually going to be having the red letter indications in there if you want to turn on red letter mode or whatever. Let's see, he's taking calls from friendlies and opposition. Yeah, I love taking friendly calls. Kitten, if you want to request up, you're over there on the YouTube side. I do have that pinned up in the chat there. If you have a question or if you have anything that you want to talk about or ask me about, I'm very friendly and amenable to any friendlies that want to come up and ask a question or whatnot. Not necessarily to just randomly hang out or anything like that, but if you want to come up and ask that question, ask any questions that you have, feel free. But yes, it's ge.hop.2/talk to me. I'm going to get a better link. I'm working on customizing Video Ninja so that I can get a better sort of waiting room and have better control over everything. I'm currently working on that right now, as well as the Bible app stuff. So hopefully I can get that served up soon. I noticed that Goro is still in the chat over there. That was he's got a cross in his name. Goro, do you want to come up and have a conversation? Can you prove that God exists or that he's not evil? Oh, it looks like we've got atheism is unstoppable. Unstoppable. Hi there, atheism is unstoppable. How you doing?
Hi, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. I'm guessing you're friendly, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Jesus never existed. That one kind of threw me for a loop because
Okay.
even though of course, like you could say like, oh, he wasn't this mythical figure. I at least thought like historically, like there was a guy that like the story was based off of.
Right. Yeah. I mean, typically that's what people believe, but I don't think that there was ever a historical guy that anything was based on.
Okay. Do you have like any like, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to know like what's your backing for that. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Right. Well, just essentially that there's no contemporary evidence that actually mentions or makes reference to a Jesus prior to his crucifixion. So all references,
Gotcha.
all references to Jesus come from a revelatory being as opposed to, like a historical figure.
Gotcha. So like you would discard like Josephus or like Tacitus?
Well, yeah, I mean, so Josephus, scholars are starting to come around to the fact that Josephus was most likely wholly interpolated. Now, it's not a majority view yet, but it's like, in the past 10 years or so, the evidence has only pointed away from an original authorship for that section. Now, there is a guy right now that's trying to get through and like the entire original, or the entire Testimonium Flavianum that we have right now as being originally written by Josephus, but he's got really bad evidence. He even uses stylometric analysis in order to prove it, but he just utterly fails horribly at that. And I'm planning on writing a paper about his findings too, because he's presenting at the SBL, and I'm gonna take that and eviscerate it. But in any case, so yeah, the Testimonium Flavianum is most likely wholly interpolated, so it doesn't really give us any kind information there. And then the James passage in Josephus, that's it makes more sense if he's talking about the Jesus ben Damnius that's mentioned later, as opposed to a Messiah or Christ version of Jesus, because he doesn't explain like what a Christ is, what a Christ means to the Jewish people, and all this other stuff. So like it just doesn't he doesn't explain all that. So it makes much more sense if it's a story about how Jesus ben Damnius actually gets into the high priesthood seat due to his brother being offed by this defunct high priest, and so it's like a way of repaying the thing that was done to him.
Gotcha. And then you also Tacitus, would he be interpolated too?
No, well, not necessarily. Red Guardian, sure, you can come up and speak on veterans issues here in a second. So let me talk to Atheism is Unstoppable for a little bit here, because it's actually directly on the topic.
I actually won't be too long. I just wanted to ask a couple questions.
Yeah, that's fine. So Tacitus, so there is a coherent argument to be made that Tacitus is interpolated, like the portion that mentions Pontius Pilate and all that other kind of stuff. There is a coherent argument that suggests that is interpolated, but you don't need that in order to argue, or in order to dismiss it as evidence for a historical Jesus. Primarily because of the fact that it mentions, for one thing, it mentions Crestus and Christians, which is actually kind of a different thing. Suetonius, about 10 years or so prior to the reference that Tacitus makes, actually has a Crestus, a Jewish instigator named Crestus that was stirring up the Jews at that time. And so it makes more sense if he's talking about that Crestus figure stirring up the Jews and everything like that right there. But and so either way, he's making reference of an event from the 2nd century about an event in the 1st century CE. Around 62 or 64 or so. It's the burning of Rome. And so it's just mentioning that there were Christians and this is what they happen to believe, is what it basically was saying. So Tacitus we can't actually establish that Tacitus is providing independent information, because any way you go about it, it's ultimately stemming from the gospel information, because it's either coming from Christians themselves in the 2nd century, or Tacitus is getting it directly from the Gospels. Either way, it's definitely coming from there.
Okay, yeah, that's all good information. I'm gonna go now, but have a good rest of your day.
All right, hey, you do the same, okay? Let's see, Red Guardian, I'll have you up, but if it's not on the topic, I do want to kind of keep it a little bit short. But I mean, I do very much value veterans, and so if you have something to say about veterans, that's more than one. Yeah, hey there, Red Guardian, what would you like to say?
I know how to keep it tight. I've been practicing my elevator speech on this one, so
okay.
All right, so in particular, after what reports have been coming in through regarding the USS Abraham Lincoln, and how I've been personally processing that, and how my service impacted me, how veterans are impacted every day, I am trying to start my own redirection on my lives and start uplifting veteran voices and centering veterans around the conversation, because unfortunately, it is not just about Trump, Hegseth, and any of the people in Major Command, CENTCOM, any of that stuff. There are large institutional failures that have been veterans slipping and service members slipping through the cracks for decades across several different administrations. And the reality is, as a veteran, I genuinely feel like when things like this hit the news cycle, we get spent as tokens in the conversation because nothing ever really changes for us, no matter who wins the argument. So I am trying to bring more attention to those who are impacted the most by the policies that are surrounding not just how we take care of veterans at home, but how we create veterans in the first place, because there is a large group of people that have been forgotten. And the way I see it, the people who serve this country signed a social contract, not just to the Department of Defense, but to the American people. We swore to serve and protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States. And I'm going to be honest and forthright and maybe a little frank here that the American people are not holding up their end of that social contract. It is not just the administration. It is not just the command. We need people to be centering veterans and service members in this conversation. So that is my piece.
Yeah, this has been a problem for a long time. I mean, the First Blood, the Rambo movie. I mean, that entire movie is about how veterans are treated, coming back from service. And, it's been a pretty persistent problem throughout, the decades.
Yeah, I was just muting up so I could remain polite. Yeah, thank you. And I know you want to get back to your topics, but if there are people who want to follow me to learn more about how I plan to try and shape this conversation, I wanted that opportunity. I don't speak for all veterans. I speak for promises. I speak for programs. I speak for care, especially mental health care, which is, I think, the thing that is slipping through the cracks largest. 17 and a half veterans end their own lives every day, and 61% of those that do not have health care in the last year of their lives. So that is not just a Trump administration failure. That is a very large failure on our entire institution.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you there. So thank you so much for coming up and everything. Everybody, if you would like to follow Red Guardian there for more information on that, please do.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Yep, no problem. All right, I'll see you later, Red Guardian.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. We did have this Saint Michael guy requesting up. He seems kind of like an asshole, and I feel like that matches. I feel like Maximus Jesus. One Holy Catholic Apostolic Church, 2,000 years. Come on, bud. You requested up, and then you left. His bio says that he was in a Texas prison for nearly 20 years. It's like, I'm blunt. Is Red Guardian on YouTube too? I'm not sure. Red Guardian, I know you're still in the chat there. Are you on YouTube as well? Yeah, Kitten, I'm getting you. Let me check. Let's see. Oh, we do have, okay, Kitten, over there. Does God exist? Alexander, I do not think that he does. YouTube is Dave's World's Games. Let me. All right, Kitten, I'm gonna get you here in a second. Hold on, let me get YouTube. I got I got hit. Yeah, I got a live restriction over here on TikTok for hate speech and hateful behavior. What? That's crazy. Okay, hold on. I got it. Hi there, Kitten. Are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, yep, I got you. Let me make. I think everybody should be able to hear you without. Yeah, I think we're good. So what's up there, kitten? Are you over 18?
Yeah, definitely. Twice over actually.
Okay, I'm
Thanks
guessing
for
you're.
reminding me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm guessing you're friendly, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay. I just want to let you know, Tiffany, I see you over there on the Video Ninja. I'm going to get to you right after Kitten. Okay. So Kitten, did you have a question or anything like that?
I won't be long. I'm actually the one who sent you that video today of the people stopping by, just for context. So that was me and me dealing with them. First and foremost,
Oh,
I just want to say I appreciate what you guys do. It means a lot to have people out there who feel the same way, and to, for lack of a better word, show us how to deal with people like that.
yeah.
And I guess my question would be, how can I get more involved? Like, what's something I can do to help support you guys and become part of this, the solution, for lack of a better word?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I, I don't want to like, out like your local area or anything like that. Cause I feel like I know, maybe the local area that you're in. But you know, getting a,
I'm in North Alabama. I'll say
yeah.
it. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So I mean, so there is a North Alabama Free Thought. It's a group, and they have like it's a lot less active now. So there's that group that's there. There's also some other groups in Alabama. But as far as like helping like Godless engineer or whatnot here, I don't know if you know about Rocket City Reason, but we've actually got a conference that we're going to be putting on, that is here and like at the Marriott, right next to the Space and Rocket Center. We're going to
Okay.
be, yeah, we're going to be doing that. We've got a few panels that are going to be live that day. We've got like Seth Andrews coming in and everything like that. But being a part of the community is really important. And there's a lot of communities out there. Like, I don't know if you go to Nashville that often, but there's a thriving community up there in Nashville that you could check out. Some events that are going on up there if you'd like to drive that far up that way. But there are a few like events that go on here locally on occasion, and I know that, you know, we're trying to get more into like the in-person like event stuff and whatnot. So I try to share whenever there's somebody in the community that needs help or whatnot. So I guess just, you know, follow and just be on the lookout, and just participating in the community is kind of the best way to do it. Not being afraid to stand up, like talking to those people today that you showed me, about, the uncomfortable things that are in the Bible. I mean, I think spreading that kind of awareness is always going to do good for just the general community, and so like all of that's great. Oh, you can get my GE Bible app. I've been trying to, I'm a poor salesman when it comes to like pushing my stuff, but my Bible app I have has a lot of that information in it. And if you are interested in learning more, like deeper things, doing a deeper study on the Bible and the things that it teaches, that's a great resource to get.
Cool. And just so you know, I'm also a software engineer. So if you need any help, you let me know.
Oh yeah, totally. That's awesome. I'll definitely keep you in mind, because I'm trying to get some good feedback on my app and everything like that. So coming from another software engineer, just anything that if you're using it and there's anything that you can think of or any problems you see, you just let me know.
Cool. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate the info. And again, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, no, thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of the community. And I'll definitely try to keep you and everybody else updated on anything that we can do in our local community. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right. I'll see you later. Okay, we don't have anybody over there on TikTok, but that's because we got put into TikTok jail. That's right, TikTok jail is where we're at right now, and we're there for about 10 minutes, so I'm going to let this simmer for a little bit longer while I talk to Tiffany over here on YouTube, on the Video Ninja side. Hi there, Tiffany. How are you doing?
Hi there. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Everybody should be able to hear
Good.
you over there. So how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Friendly, by the way.
Okay.
I was just wondering, well, I just deconverted actually maybe a couple months ago. I guess my question was, somebody had brought something up maybe on your channel or on the line about, you know, how it says in the New Testament, beware of people that say they're God or Jesus, or, you know, beware of all the false gods and false teachers and all that comes.
Yeah.
I guess, sorry, I have chronic illness here. I'm working with it. But I guess it got me thinking about, you know, if the Jesus that they say is actually the false one, you know, and I wondered maybe if you had any personal experience about, because it seemed like my whole life in Christianity was really, really difficult. And it just was thing after thing after thing. And as soon as I left, things started getting easier. And that seems to be, you know, proof enough for me. And I was wondering, you know, I mean, most people come from Christianity to atheism. There's a reason for it. And I wondered if you had any, you know, personal life stories that kind of pushed you away and got you, you know, proving that it's a bad, you know, entity. It's not even, well, I know that you don't believe in it altogether, but if there was, you know, like if there was an option, you know what I mean?
Right. So is what would your question be? Is there any life experience or information that I have that kind of really solidifies my stance about Christianity and the Bible being toxic?
Yeah, because it just kept being proven to me over and over and over again that it was like something was attacking my life while I was, you know, a Christian. And now that I'm doing other things, things just kind of seem to be falling into place. So I don't know. I wondered if anybody else had those type of experiences.
Yeah. Well, so for me, like, I don't have any personal experiences like within the church that actually happened to me, but it is like, I have had experiences both talking to people and also in just being part of the community and seeing what, you know, things that happen in church communities in general. And so there's two things that are kind of generally related, at least in my eyes. The first one is kind of counterintuitive, and that's the concept of forgiveness in Christianity, because what I find is that the concept of forgiveness in Christianity seems to be a bit perverted from, you know, any kind of like real healthy, mentally healthy sort of way of dealing with traumatic experiences, where there's, you know, where you've got somebody that is the offender, right? Church communities, they leave it between the person and their God, essentially. And, you know, and so when they do that, it allows them to excuse behavior that you wouldn't otherwise excuse. And I'm thinking about like the P3DO problem in church communities, or the sex offender problem in church communities, where, you know, it causes them to, you know, not to turn a blind eye to very obvious habitual problems that people have in favor of in favor of allowing them to be forgiven by God, or to essentially take it up with their own God and be and have justice served by God in that kind of way. And so I feel like what that does is that opens up not only the church community, but the people in the church community to very subversive actors that will take advantage and continue to abuse. And we see this in both Protestant and Catholic institutions. And so I think that that's probably one of the most harmful things, because it allows allows offenders to keep on offending and to have new victims. So there's that aspect of it. And then there's the aspect of, in a more theological sense, which is kind of like an underpinning of that issue. It's the inability of the Christian theology or the Christian morality to be able to actually discern what is good and what is bad. Because if you think about their sense of morality, it typically boils down to some kind of divine command theory. And that's what allows the offenders to keep on offending in those church communities. Because if God says it, then that must mean that it's okay. And because God has used traumatic experiences or has done traumatic things to people in the past, this is just another way in which God is like strengthening his subjects or whatnot. And but also the fact that God has forgiven somebody means that you in some particular respects, that means that you can't then criticize that person, or you can't then judge that person, right? And so the inability to actually discern between right and wrong, good or bad in the Christian theology, I think opens up Christianity and Christians themselves to being the victims of traumatic experiences, and also the perpetuators of traumatic experiences. And so I think that those two things in conjunction with each other kind of provide this sort of toxic feedback loop that keeps the church community toxic if it does become toxic. Now, that's not to say that every church community out there is toxic, but I feel like once a church community becomes toxic, it's really hard for them to stop being toxic.
Yeah, I was at several in the last year. We kind of just all migrated around, and oh boy, the one pastor had, family members that were gossiping, and so he didn't correct it. He was the enabler and all kinds of things like that. And just while being Christian, I just always felt like it was just this depressing medieval kind of, you're never going to be good enough. You're always doing something wrong. If you have any kind of problem at all, it's because you did something wrong, or you weren't doing something enough, or, it's never just a thing that happens, or, it's never because of something else. And it was just this toxic narcissistic loop,
Yeah.
And it was just becoming too much for anybody to be able to keep up with and handle.
No, yeah, I totally understand what you mean there, and I totally get what you're talking about. With that, I sorry, I didn't mean to interject here real quick, but I did want to ask Mama Mephi in the comments over there on TikTok, if you can put your new YouTube handle in, that way I can point people over there on YouTube towards your new YouTube channel. Sorry I wasn't able to participate this past weekend, really at all, but I'm going to try to get you some subscribers over there. Okay. But yeah, so what if I can ask you, Tiffany, what kind of convinced you away from the faith? What was a major factor in your deconstruction?
It was just the hypocrisy. Get up there on the pulpit and say, don't do this and don't do that, and then we sit down and have a meal together, and that's exactly what we do: gossip, backbite, talk about everybody. And I was actually the youngest member of my little one. And so people were supposed to be teaching me how to be doing the right things, and And I just sat kind of quietly and looked at him like, are we serious right now? Are we actually doing this? And there were, well, a couple people that were trying to engage me for other reasons. And I ended up having a secular friend for a short while and brought her to church a couple times. And oh, I tell you what, it was just wild. It was just the talk of the town. It was horrible. And I felt like every time I walked in, everybody got quiet, you know, wonder why. And I don't know, it was just, I didn't like it. I felt like I went out of my way and bent over backwards to do the right things for everybody else to just kind of take it wishy-washy.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you mean by that. I mean, I really hate the whole gossipy kind of thing, like backroom talking and everything. I'd prefer people to just say things to my face, you know?
Absolutely. And it, I guess why it was so outrageous to me was that there's so many, I looked them up, so many verses and scripture on gossiping and backbiting and all that, that I couldn't even write them all down. That's how many there were. And, you know, God will literally spew you out of his mouth and all of this stuff and how terrible it all is. And, you know, nobody actually took it seriously.
No, yeah, I totally understand that. And you know, if you're interested in learning more about like the Bible and the theology of the Bible and why it doesn't make sense, my gebible.app app is it has an analysis section where you can kind of go through it and you can read, you know, all the different issues that the Bible's faced with. And I'm going to be adding more and more data sets to that where I do deeper and deeper analyses on. So I don't know if you're interested in that at all, but if you are interested in like learning more about that, that resource is there for you.
Yeah, that's cool. I really appreciate it. I'll check that out. But I'll let you go now and get to another caller. But I just wanted to say that I really appreciate these kinds of content videos that you make, and they're really cathartic. And I really look forward to seeing all the new stuff you got.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming on. Feel free anytime to come on and ask me any kind of questions that you have, even if it's just to like, you know, ask me about any, you know, kind of like what you did today, asking me about any of my experiences or anything like that. Feel free to request up. I love interacting with people on that. My email is also open. It's john@godlessengineering.com. You can always email me, and I usually try to respond in a relatively decent amount of time. So if you want to do that, please send me an email.
All right, I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, no problem. All
Bye.
right. Bye, Tiffany. Okay. That was a really awesome call right there. That was great. Okay, let's see. We don't have, let me see. We don't have anybody over there on Video Ninja. We got about 30 minutes until the hang up starts over there on the line. And tonight, I do believe on the line, you know, any other time I would be able to tell you who Matt has on. It's Peach something. Peachy fuck, I can just cue this up real quick. Yeah, Peach Braxton is over there. I know Peach from TikTok, and she's also got a YouTube channel that's pretty large. So definitely check out that tonight here in about a half hour. Let's say we do have Big something here. Big Schmel 0. Are you over 18 there, Big Schmel?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And then what are your pronouns?
He, him, I guess.
He, him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what did you want to talk about today? Are you a Christian or an atheist or general theist? Like what?
I would. I don't know. I would call myself as like an. How would I say, like? I am friendly, but I'm not like 100% sure what kind of mysticism I actually should like accept. Like,
Okay.
not too long ago, I met like a good guy. I had basically a discussion with a Christian about like if Jesus was historical.
Okay.
And then I met him, and he basically believed in the Flavian conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So one of the things about the Flavian deal is that what you would have to have is you would have to have these Roman Latin writers that are trying to imitate Greek, like the Greek prose and all the Greek intricacies that were endemic to the Greek writers of the New Testament. And the thing is that that's a pretty well known like pattern, like that that there's predictable things that they would do in their writings. And so when you actually carefully examine that, we don't actually find that the writers of the New Testament were somehow like naturally Latin writers that were trying to imitate Greek writers or the Koine Greek. And so we just don't find that in the style of the text. And so that's one reason why it's rejected. Another reason is that there's just simply no evidence. There's just like specious parallels that people normally bring up. There's the at-will hypothesis, I think, is the Flavian one. And so like there's a bunch of specious parallels that typically get brought up in those situations, and they're never really all that convincing because you have to stretch them. And it pretty much gets into what's called parallelomania, which is basically seeing parallels everywhere and making parallels out of every little thing in order to make those connections.
Yeah, the one thing that really bothered me was like the comparison between like Josephus' travel to Malta and like the shipwreck on Malta and the shipwreck of Josephus on Malta. It's basically one-to-one the same story. Like, I know that some of the letters of Paul and the stories in Acts of the Apostles are pretty late. Well, when would you date Luke, in your opinion?
I typically date Luke somewhere near the 2nd century. It's either very late in the 1st century, like near 2nd century, or it's definitely in the 2nd century.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. Like he must have had like at least Josephus as like some kind of information source, I guess. And
well, so now we do know that Luke used Josephus as to add some historical like backing to his story, just to give it an air of legitimacy. So we do know that was an influence on Luke's gospel as well as Acts. I typically go along with Dennis MacDonald's hypothesis in Two Shipwreck Gospels, where he lays out that the actual shipwreck stuff that you find in Luke, like the boat scenes and everything like that in Luke Acts, are actually developed from Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. And so I don't know if maybe Josephus's depiction of his experiences were influenced by that or what, but I mean, I think that there's a strong connection there between the Homer's Iliad and Odyssey and Luke Acts.
Okay. What I also like, I researched a bunch of stuff then, and I don't know how you stand on the Marcionite priority, I guess. Do you know what Mark Vincent says about it, or like Matthias Klinghardt? Have you read the books about?
Yeah, I know that I know their positions, but I've actually ran the stylometric analysis on that particular question, and I don't find that the style that either the Gospels or Paul's epistles are written in to be all that congruent with either Marcion or even a school of Marcionite authors that would be representative of a Marcionite school. We also don't see any kind of like anti-Pauline overlay on any of the material. We just don't like all the things that Vincent and other people have characterized the epistles as well as the gospels as having. It doesn't actually pan out when you do proper stylometric analysis on those pieces. And so I'm thoroughly not convinced. I wasn't convinced before, but the stylometric analysis, the proper stylometric analysis, actually solidified my position that there's no way that that Marcionite priority is real or is accurate.
Okay, that's interesting. What's your opinion on the popes? Like, if you don't believe like in the existence of Jesus Christ, there's probably not that much evidence for like popes like Linus, like the second pope after Peter, basically, or like Celsius, or maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about the succession of popes. We do know that from Paul's writings, Peter was at least an apostle, and they claim, it's just a claim that he was the first pope or whatnot. But I think that that's probably some kind of like retcon in Catholic in like Catholic tradition that they identify Peter as the first pope. I mean, Catholicism didn't get established until well into, I believe it was like the 3rd century or so. And I think that they probably just sort of like established some kind of line just to have a line of succession in the popes there. But I don't think that, any of that has anything to do with like whether or not Jesus was historical or the original writings of either the epistles or the gospels.
Yeah, like one weird 2nd century church father that seems pretty crazy to me is like the how was he called? John Martin? No, Justin Martyr. Yeah, Justin Martyr.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he was a proto-Catholic, or what strain of Christianity did he follow?
I think that as far as I mean, I think that he was just part of a Christian sect that eventually had his writings preserved by later Christians. And so I don't think that you can really solidify him as being part of any of those, like any kind of Catholic line or anything like that. I think that he was a Christian that was part of a Christian community, and I'm a little foggy on whether or not Justin Martyr's I guess community became anything more orthodox or established. But I would think that he would be representative of a very Pauline line of Christianity. Because, I mean, after Paul came and he kind of laid down the law and a lot of things, Paul really, molded Christianity into what he envisioned it to be, as opposed to what the original Christians wanted it to be. And so there were still a lot of different sects of Christians at that time. It's just that, how they all coalesced into the different like councils that eventually formed. I think that eventually that they established a sacred timeline, if you will, for the early Christians.
Okay, thanks. The friend I mentioned, like every time we have a discussion, basically always like it's always the same. Like a Christian will say like, "Oh, we have Josephus. We have Tacitus. Sometimes even Tertullian, I guess." And he wants basically to do like, how would I say? A more comprehensive answer sheet for like this kind of questions, and why he thinks these answers are like not valuable if you don't believe that Jesus never existed. Can you maybe give like some tips how you would, like, if you would be in my position, how you would help him with this comprehension list of like these basic arguments, like.
So are you asking like what are some best tips to give you in your conversation with your friend who adheres to the very conspiratorial view of Jesus and Christianity?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I mean, so essentially what all these sort of conspiratorial views of Jesus and early Christianity rely upon is specious ad hoc claims. So like if they say, well, like, you know, there's this thing is similar to this thing, similar to that thing, there's important aspects to parallels that that you have to consider. You have to consider whether or not there was the ability of one to affect the other, but also the order in which things happen are important. Like if all the elements are there, but they don't happen the exact same way in the exact same order and everything like that, to the exact same cadence and whatnot, then the parallel is not likely in that situation. The thing that makes parallels convincing is when you have multiple different individual aspects that happen in the exact same order as the thing that came prior, and that thing that came prior, whatever prior work you're talking about, would have directly had influence on that work, so that there is the possibility of that connection being drawn. So just to give you a for instance here, the reason why the two shipwreck gospels that Dennis MacDonald wrote, the reason why that's a convincing argument is that the writers of the New Testament, the writers of the Gospels, especially Luke, they would have gone to pagan schools. Now, how you were taught in pagan schools to write in Koine Greek was to take previous compositions and then do minor changes to them to create a new story. And so what that would end up with is you could detect these parallels that exist within them, and you could tell that they changed the story of the Homer's Iliad or Homer's Odyssey, and they just changed it in order to tell their own story. And it would happen in the exact same order as Homer's Iliad and Odyssey and all this other stuff. And so because these writers would have went to pagan schools that would have learned to write by using Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, it makes it a much more likely candidate for a parallel in Luke's gospel because of Luke's background, or the background that Luke would have had to have had. So like that's an example of an explanation that should, I would hope, sway any reasonable person away from these parallelograms, parallelomania type of arguments. Establishing like, is this really a viable option? Did it happen in the exact same like progression and all this other stuff? And you also have to make sure that you have concrete evidence in order to ground this information in. I mean, people can come up with different interpretations, and they can come up with these ad hoc claims about, well, this is really representative of this other thing that is part of the Roman like Empire or the Roman Legion or something like that. But in order to actually establish that is what it meant, you would actually have to have something to ground it in that makes it the most likely explanation. Otherwise, it's just grasping at straws. Has this made sense?
I think I get what you're saying. So basically just get the evidence on paper and maybe you will get it, I guess.
Well, yeah. So essentially whenever I'm in those kind of conversations, I don't allow them to just make specious ad hoc claims about something. I ask them to like ground it for me, or I ask them to give me the evidence that makes it the most likely conclusion. So like, for instance, the evidence that makes it the most likely conclusion for like Homer's Iliad and Odyssey influencing Luke's gospel is the fact that Luke would have had to been trained in pagan schools to write in Greek. Homer's Iliad and Odyssey would have been one of the works that they would have trained on in order to learn how to write in Greek. And so those are sort of these hard links that make it a plausible conclusion to come to that. Now you can, making up like the Flavian thing, like that Josephus was really, somehow writing as Paul, or crafted Paul's writings, or crafted the Gospels, or Marcion crafted the Gospels or crafted the epistles. You would need to have some kind of grounding in that. Like you would have to have not just some specious claim about how, we don't have any manuscripts prior to Marcion stuff. Now, it can be true that Marcion preserves our earliest records and also alters them a bit, but is not the originator of them. So we would need extra information in order to make that particular claim. But what you can say is that, Marcion is the first one to more completely preserve, this tradition or something like that. You could say that, but what you can't say, and it's going too far, is to say that Marcion invented it. Do you see the subtle nuance there?
Yeah, I think I get it. Like in my mind, basically, the main reason why Marcion actually compiled his gospel Evangelion was because he tried to get over on the Christian community in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that made Luke then write his own gospel, as a countermeasure, basically.
So one thing that you have to understand with those gospels, like just gospels in general, and the writings of Christians at this time, was that everybody had their own take on things. Everybody had their own particular flavor of the Christian story that they wanted to preserve, or they wanted to establish. And so I don't doubt that Marcion more than likely edited down Luke's gospel to be something that he wanted to establish as far as his gospel for his ministry or for his group, right? So I think that he most likely did that. But I don't think that we can go as far as to say that he invented the gospel and then later authors elaborated on Marcion's gospel. That's the actual claim of the Marcion priority there. So the fact that that the interconnectedness between all the gospels seems to indicate that, there's a clear progression in the gospels and how they were written. And that's with Mark being first, Matthew being next, Luke, coming after that. And then we also have this evidence that's best explained by Paul influencing Mark as well as the other gospels. And so with that, we can kind of build this very general timeline as far as when they were written. Marcion coming in the middle of the 2nd century, these gospels would have already been well established, including the Gospel of John. And so I think that with an established Christian community and Marcion, getting a hold of a gospel and producing his own, that seems much more likely than anything else. And so I think that as long as you just focus on establishing hard facts about things and then trying to see whether or not the best explanation is whatever your friend is saying or whatever your friend is claiming, I think that's kind of the best way to go about it, because their explanation has to be more parsimonious or better explain the evidence than what the mainstream consensus is about how they were written. And so unless they are more parsimonious, or if they have to stack ad hoc claims, or essentially if they just have to keep making up excuses for things without actually providing hard evidence, that is when you know that they don't have anything to actually stand on.
Okay, I guess thank you then. That's all my questions. Have a nice day. And
all right. Hey, feel free to request back up anytime. I hope that if you don't follow me already, go ahead and follow me, and we'll talk again in the future. Okay.
Okay. Ciao. Bye.
Bye. Okay. My throat is starting to like hurt a lot. I'm closing down the control room over here on Video Ninja, so I'm not going to be taking anybody up over there. I do appreciate everybody in the chats everywhere. I'm going to get Facebook included in my little chat moderation tool here. But I really appreciate everybody over there on the YouTube side doing all the YouTube things. I wasn't able to get, I was trying to get the coffee stuff integrated, but I don't have that integrated just yet. I'm hoping to get some get a way for people to actually send like messages through coffee or something like that. Yeah, you can actually include a message. It's got a message key right there, so I can actually have that message come up on the stream. So hopefully I can get that integrated next time. But let's see. Still no word for the NRSVUE guys, but if you will go to gebible.app and you will be able to find great information on the Bible. You can do a deep Bible study on it if you are interested in the Bible, interested in finding out more about the Bible and everything like that. Thank you there, Adelaide, for sending in those claps. Really appreciate you over there. If you will, if you're not following me over there on the TikTok side, I hope that you will. Thank you everybody for watching. Apostate Ape, I see you there. Kevin, I see you. Adelaide, I appreciate you over there. Tuta me, I see you. Yeah, hey there, Kevin. Thank y'all so much for joining up today. And I think I'm gonna go. My arm is killing me right now, and I really need to get this thing propped up and get situated for the night. I also need to get I don't know, some kind of hot tea or something like that. I don't fucking know. My throat is killing me. Oh man, I hope I'm not getting sick or something. That would really suck. But anyways, if you're over there on the YouTube side, you are going to be forwarded automatically to Matt's show, The Hang Up, where Peach Braxton is on tonight with Matt. So make sure you stay tuned. Let me make sure that I got that situated to automatically send you guys over there. Yes, y'all are going to get sent automatically over there. Yeah, thank you so much there, Ernuf, Fnuff, saying rest up and everything. I really appreciate that sentiment. I'm going to try to get some more videos edited tonight. Let's see, pull now. Rest up. I'm gonna get some more videos edited up. We do have an Ark Encounter protest video coming out tomorrow. I interviewed a whole bunch of people at the Ark Encounter protest. I also interviewed a lot of people over at the NanoCon conference, as well as the Bat Cruise that happened this past weekend at the ACA out there in Austin. So I will have more in-person interview questions and everything like that. Michael Ward says, go back to your imaginary world. What does that mean there, Michael? I don't know if you joined too late to actually request up there, bud, but I should be live at some point this week. So definitely consider requesting up, next time we're on here, buddy. Otherwise, it kind of makes it seem like you're just a weird. That's an imaginary word. Yep, it is. It's an imaginary word. I'm trying to bide some time for Matt to get started over there for us to be able to send everybody over. Yeah, y'all have an awesome time. I'm going to go ahead and stop things over here on the TikTok. We got putting the time out over there on TikTok, but hopefully, I'm going to try to be live tomorrow afternoon if I can. Who's on with Matt tonight? Mike asks. It is Peach Braxton is over there. She's over here on TikTok as well as on YouTube. She's a good content creator, so definitely check her out. Hey there, Yayamin, how you doing? Sorry you're getting here a little late. We're wrapping up right now. If you haven't checked out my Bible app, I released a Bible app. If you want to check that out, it's gebible.app. It's got a lot of great tools on there, a lot of great analyses things that you can check out and whatnot. Thanks for sending us to Matt. Yes. Okay, TikTok. I will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice, and all that kind of good shit. We will see you heathens tomorrow afternoon, probably. All right, bye, y'all, over there on TikTok. All right, YouTube. It's just us right now. Well, I mean, it's us, and it is. Let's see. We got YouTube, Instagram, the Facebook page, and the Twitch. Yayamin says it's awesome, talking about my Bible app. I think that it's awesome too, and I'm working on a lot of great stuff that's coming up with it, so stay tuned for that. I'm also I don't have it in the support just yet, but I do plan on having YouTube memberships get you access to the various levels over there. So I will definitely let you know whenever the YouTube membership stuff is integrated, but you'll be able to get access to that too. I just haven't been able to get that integrated just yet, but I will. It's coming. But anyways, it is 6 o'clock. Matt is going to be going live right now. Let me double check to see if Matt is live. Normally they start pretty on time all the time. So it looks like Ogar is online right now. I do not see that Matt has started yet, but they should be starting soon. So I think that I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send you guys over there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you everybody that tuned in today. Archradish just tried the app for the first time the other day. Oh, awesome. That's good to hear, Arch. Chad. Right, meow. I will send you guys over there, right, meow. I can't play my guitar, my banjolele, and I really hate that because I normally play that every single time, but just imagine that I'm playing it right now. And so I'm just going to say, don't forget to stand up and use your voices every day.